Hey, welcome in, y'all. Uh, I have today in our latest ECM series. This is number 18 ECM, and this is seriously not pretty much not the way I wanted to introduce this artist because I think this artist will merit at some point me to do a ranking video on. I'm talking about the great piano player from New York scene in the New York scene, not originally from. They're talking about Paul Bley, and this is not about Paul Bley himself, but it's about this record. And this record is called Fragments. And this has in it the wonderful John Sermon, Bill Frisell, and Paul Motian. Paul being the one that completely propelled a lot of the early stuff on, so a lot of the early records. Remember that great record he made with John McLaughlin over in England before? Nevertheless, what a great pairing together. This is ECM 1320. Paul Bley, of course, is known a lot for his experimental jazz stuff that he did back in the late 1960s, even beforehand. Worked in a lot of the experimental labels, and he came upon ECM. ECM did re-release some of the earlier records that he had made on the smaller labels. But he, of course, teamed up with Annette Peacock. They made synthesizer music, one of the first people to go out with a Moog synthesizer to improvise with it. Always been a man of just great taste. I just love his harmonic coloring. I've just been a major fan of him among anybody else. No, he's never going to compete with Keith Jarrett or Chick Corea on their playground. But for what this guy does and what this guy does with spacing and what this guy does in many different contexts is just magical. And this is no difference. And it's really a surprise. This is a great collection of tunes. It's got a couple Carla Bley songs on it. He actually has Annette Peacock song on it. Also, Paul Motian's song, two of those actually on side two, Paul Bley. So basically it just split up into about equal parts between everyone. Even Bill Frisell has a track on it. If I do have one complaint, this is a 1986 record. If I have one complaint, and I'm assuming this is digitally produced over there, but the spacing of it is typical fantastic ECM sound. John Sermon with the soprano and baritone, just not in a race to beat anybody. These guys all have a lot in common. Bill Frisell's really got his touch. And the only complaint I have about the record is he's a little highly mixed. And I know it's an interesting mix of people that you have here. It's just an interesting put together. And this is another one of those situations. And I know I just made a video not long ago when I was complaining. But this would have been a band where I'd love to have had more than one record, because there's some really beautiful stuff here. The version of Annette Peacock's Nothing Ever Was Anyway is just breathtaking. Carla Bley 7, they're both the closers. But the whole record, it just carries about an elegance and a spaciousness and a thing that you expect from Paul's records. But the way these guys kind of fall in, and it's amazing. I guess the best way you want to call it is, I guess, who the writer of the song here, or the person that kind of introduced it on those songs, sounds like kind of the lead person on the recording. Where's your Carla Bley song? In that song, Paul takes over for that, and just some gorgeous, beautiful stuff. I really wish this label and this guy would have continued to make more beautiful music, but for those who are here to hear it, and those are, the Sermon fans who just love that wailing saxophone and the sound he has, highly recommended. Another gem in the ECM catalog, our number 18 here. This is ECM 1320, Fragments by Paul Bley. Highly recommended. Catch you guys next time.